Hey everyone, Tyler here with Gilded Reviews, and today we are doing an early access first look at Factorio, the automation simulator that somehow manages to melt your time away. Factorio is one of the best titles on Steam, easily ranking in the top 20 for overall reviews. This game is like nothing I have ever seen before, and it can get extremely addicting, featuring base building and resource management in a way that creates one of the best puzzle experiences ever. The first thing you will notice about Factorio is the less than stellar graphics, but this is a bit deceiving. When you zoom in, you notice just how beautiful this game is. It has a lot of moving parts that are very well animated. The premise of Factorio is that you have crash landed on an alien world. You start with very little and must survive using the resources around you. During your time on this planet, you will be designing, building, managing, and researching your way to a rocket that you can send into space. Keep in mind, the machines and equipment you build give off pollution that will anger the nearby wildlife. These aliens evolve over time, becoming stronger, and will attack your base in waves. Eventually, you will have access to some tower defense stuff, and can build walls surrounding your base, so don't worry about it too much. If the aliens do cause issues, you can always turn them down or completely off in the settings. Keep in mind, this needs to be done before you start a game. The option I recommend for new players is the one that turns them non-aggressive until you attack them. Then you can get used to the mechanics and build up a base before you start getting attacked. Factorio does offer some campaigns and scenarios as well. The campaigns remind me of something from Age of Empires or StarCraft. Scenarios, on the other hand, are completely different. I haven't tried these out, but it looks like there's a PvP map and a wave defense type of game that seems interesting. It appears that most of the scenarios are multiplayer focused, which would be a lot of fun. Speaking of online, Factorio does offer a multiplayer lobby if you are looking to find people to play with. Also, before we jump into some gameplay, I want to bring up this game does have mods. They are not on Steam though, and you will need to find the official mod site online. I will throw a link down below. These mods can add a tremendous amount to the game, including space exploration. Now let's go ahead and jump into a new game. I wasn't originally going to do this type of video, but I feel it is much easier to show you guys these mechanics so you can see why they are so addicting. I will make this as quick as possible, and we'll be doing a full review for Factorio when it is released. If you were just looking for my opinion on this game, it's pretty simple. I love Factorio and think it is well worth full price. The developer is consistently releasing updates and talking to the community, which is a great sign. Alright everyone, now that that's done, let's go ahead and jump into the game. We're gonna just make something new. These are those options I was talking about. I like to choose rich resources and peaceful mode. Alright, now that we're loaded in, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that I want to do every time I get in here is build myself some iron axes. That way I can pick apart the ground and get the certain mats that I need to start automating. After that, I go ahead and place down my first drill. I'm going to put it on the coal this time, that way we can see just how this works. Now, I have nothing, so I need to go ahead and get myself some coal, and then I'm going to need to go and get myself some iron as well. The other thing that I could do right now is run over and grab a tree. Now, what the tree will allow me to do is build some chests for this coal to go into. It looks like we have a tree right here. We're in a pretty deserted zone, so I'm not sure how many trees there are. Oh, it looks like we have a little forest up here. Alright, so we're going to open the crafting menu. We are going to build a chest. Put the chest down right in front of the drill and start the drill up. Now the drill's going to get the coal, put it in the chest, as I'm sure you've figured out by now. And it will allow us to power everything in the base, at least until we start using some of the water to create steam and set up electricity poles throughout the area. Now I just placed down this furnace. The furnace will go ahead and cook the iron ore into iron plates, and the iron plates are what I'm going to use to be able to make the burner drill. Head over here, grab some coal, and this is just the early game. A lot of people say this is the worst part of the game, and once you get more experienced, it becomes a little easier. So we have our coal going, we have our iron going. Now what we need to do is try and automate all this. So we want coal to come down here, go into here by itself, go into here by itself, and then we want the iron to go into the furnace by itself and be pulled out on its own as well. So it's kind of tricky, but once you start figuring it out, it's a lot easier than it looks. Now what this item is that I just built here is called an inserter. This will allow me to move one object to another. It also allows me to take stuff off of the belts, and you can see once you have it, there's a flat line and an arrow. The flat line is what is pulled from, and the arrow is where it's going. So to automate this coal, what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to have some transport belts. Now these belts allow me to move materials from one area to another, and even over massive distances. Once you get further in the game, you'll be able to get train systems set up and have drones that'll fly stuff around. It gets pretty crazy much later on in the game, and you can see that on Steam through the screenshots and videos that they have provided. Today we're just going to look at the beginning so you can see kind of the puzzle aspect of the game here. Now this inserter actually runs off of coal itself. So what I'm doing is I have a coal drill that pumps out coal onto this belt, which goes to the burner, to the inserter, which will pull the coal to it and also pull the coal inside of the drill, powering itself. If I really wanted to get going on this, I would probably start the production with at least 3 of these, 2 or 3 of these iron drills and 5 or 6 of these furnaces, and really start pumping out iron plates, because you need iron plates for a long time, especially when you start getting into research. And we'll jump over to another save after I show you this so you can see just how complicated it can get. And the save that I have that I'm going to show you is only up to the green potion part of the research. There's multiple tiers of research after that, and it continues to get more complicated with time. Now, even with this high learning curve and really overly complicated type of stuff, the game is still relatively simple because of how it delivers you this information. It breaks it down to you in little chunks. You automate this, and then you do the same thing to the copper, and then you do the same thing to the stone, and you slowly grow that until you get to oil. And then you have to learn kind of a whole new fabrication method, but it's still along the same lines of those basic things you learned earlier, and you can figure it out faster. It still gets really overwhelming, don't get me wrong, and it can cause some anxiety. I've put down this game before just because the puzzles have driven me so insane. But in reality, it's still a ton of fun, and it's very addicting. Once you start figuring out that puzzle, it's like, oh, I need to add more and I need to do this. All right, let's go ahead. I need to stop talking here. Get myself some more of these plates and belts. We need plates and belts and inserters, and we're going to need a lot of them to automate this little area. We'll do it with 2 here. That way you can see how much the belt system changes based on how many furnaces you have. Eventually you'll get to a point where you have underground belts, fast belts, and the ability to split stacks and all kinds of stuff, especially with inserters. You'll have inserter arms that are long and they can go to 2 tiles away. You'll have inserters that move really fast. There are a bunch of different things in this game, but you have to get to the research portion to be able to figure it all out. All right, now I'm moving the iron out so that I can start figuring out how to put it into the furnaces. Let's go ahead and let's move this track. So if we look at these guys and say, I want to put iron in, and if I can combine the coal and iron right here so that they're on different sides of this track, then this one guy can pull all of that straight into him. Now, if I want to have the inserter in the back be able to pull out the stuff, then I have to have coal be delivered to that inserter. And that's where things start to get a little tricky. I'm going to try this out. I haven't done this before, but we'll see how it works. If I take this and just turn it straight down into there. Nope, we don't want that. We want it to run into that left side of the belt. Like that. There we go. It is. It will pull it off of that side and just supply it. So that works for that. Okay. So that'll feed down there, which it goes on the left side or the right side of the belt here. This comes around. If I have an arm that feeds into this arm, that should work. And now we should have a fully automated iron plate system. And if we wanted more iron plates to get pumped out of this guy, we would really need to add more mining drills. But as you can see, that's really simple. I just have to go get some stone and I can put him right here, basically do the same thing. I can have it feed up into here and bring the iron ore down. And I can also do the same thing with the coal. I can put one here and I can have it feed up into here. And that's how you increase your overall production. But so far, this is going to work for what we need it to. It doesn't look like I'm getting enough steel to get to this second furnace. So plopping down another one of these guys would increase that. Let's test that out. Let's see if it'll work. Now that we have the second drill going, let's see if this second furnace will start up. It looks like it's going to get there. All right, now that you guys have seen how this all works out, let's just jump into my other game and you can see how this evolves, and it's really not that much further along than we are here. It's just I've had a lot more time to kind of refine it and set it up. All right, the first thing I want to point out in this is where you do your research. And you can see here, this research tree is massive, and you eventually get down to having just a ton of different little potion or science jars that fill up and use these research centers. And it takes a long time to get everything in this game. I mean, just setting up this automated system to be able to make these green potions and red potions took me at least 3 hours. Now, if you know a lot about the game, it will take much less time than that, but I really wanted to spend some time designing my base. And this is kind of where I have left off. I have enough ore coming in here. It's all coming in the same area. All my furnaces are here. They're outputting a ton of copper plates and iron plates, and those are running along here, being turned into gears, and those gears are being turned into these transport belts, and they're also being shipped up here to be turned into these arms. These are the arms that use electricity to pull things, and they're being shipped all the way out here. We'll just follow this all the way down to the potion area. I call them potions. I think they're just called science, but they're down here to these green potions, and these guys pull in here to make them, and that's what's required to be able to make those. And as you can see, as you get more stuff unlocked, this area gets more filled up. You get a lot more stuff, which is great. These are the assembling machines. These are what you use to pick what you want built. And I'll show you guys here actually how this works. I'll just plop one down. When I select it, it just pulls up my inventory or my recipe area, and I select what I want built. And then it just tells me what mats I need, and I can put in the mats. Eventually, you'll be building modules to increase speed. You'll be doing all kinds of stuff. All right, now that you guys have an idea of how this works, this is still just the first stage, like I said. There is much more after this, like the train system, all the other science technologies and stuff that you can unlock, drones, enemies, tower defense, all that kind of stuff is in this game. Plus, it's multiplayer, so you can't really go wrong there. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and end this first look here. As you can see, Factorio can get very addictive, and if I keep playing, I won't be able to put it down. I hope this video has helped you decide if Factorio is right for you, and I will continue to evolve these first looks until I can find a good format. Be sure to let me know what you think down in the comments. And as always, if you liked the video, throw me a thumbs up, consider subscribing, or go and check out some of my other content. It really does help me out. Anyhow, thanks for watching everyone. Have a great night, and I will see you next time.